most of them out here, and today I've got a build guide for you for my pistol switch Melee Deadeye. So this is a build you can actually do with any career. It doesn't have to be a Deadeye, but you need to be Goliath because it relies on this house variant skill, Melee Prowess. So yeah, as I said, you can use it with any career. I just wanted to sort of showcase my Melee Deadeye. This isn't even like my main Melee Deadeye. This is kind of like a sort of leader, more heroic variant. But you could do this with a non-leader as well, or you could do it with a leader but spec more towards all-out damage. This one's got a bit more of a toolbox. But anyway, I'll just explain the basic build. So what it relies on is the fact that you've got this Melee Prowess skill, and what happens is every time you reload a weapon, recharge a weapon, or field repair a weapon, you get minus 50% cost to any melee offensive skill, and that charge lasts until the end of the turn, so it'll still be there until you use it up, basically. And the other thing that this build relies on is the Goliath house perk, minus 5 cost to equip weapon. So basically how this works is that this character just keeps heaps of weapons on him, and you can use them to kind of build up charges of damage on the weapons. So for example, he's using he's got just say I give him two auto pistols. So at the start of the battle, he can go around, skirting around the edges of combat and kind of like shooting a little bit with one of his pistols. As soon as he fires one shot with this auto pistol, it'll get a tiny little bit of degradation here, and then it'll be able to be repaired with the field repair skill, or you could also reload it with the reload skill. So yeah, basically what you do is then you can. And you can also do this with a. You could also do this with a Melee Brawler variant as well, if they get like power swords and chain swords and stuff like that require repair. And then anyway, basically, so what you do is you fire off a shot, that'll use up a little bit of the repair of the weapon, and then you put that in your backpack. But you don't put it in your backpack using the put in backpack key. You put it in your backpack by using equip with another pistol, and that will be free because you got minus 5. It normally costs 5 AP to equip a pistol, but the house variant gives you minus 5 AP. So you can just freely equip this las pistol, which will put this auto pistol in your backpack, and that bit of damage that's on that weapon will sort of be saved in your backpack. So this guy's got 4 pistols. So basically what he does is goes around kind of shooting people with different pistols. Even in one round, if he's got enough AP to shoot 4 times, instead of shooting 4 times with one pistol, he can shoot once with this pistol, put it in his backpack, shoot once with the next pistol, put that in his backpack, put the next one in his backpack, etc. So eventually he's cruising around with 4 pistols that are charged up with damage on them, or that have used up ammunition. And then when he goes into melee, he can use when he's ready to go into melee, he can just use his either reload or field repair skill on the damaged weapon, and then that if he uses field repair, it'll cost 10. I think he can reload with 5 AP. So either way, it's fairly cheap. I think normally field repair costs more, but you additionally can take this skill as well. Battle advice gives minus 10 AP cost to field repair. So you can, your field repairs only cost 10. But also, as I said, if you've got the weapon equipped, you can always just reload it as well, which only costs 5 AP, which is even cheaper. So basically what you do is when you're about to go into combat, or even after you've got to go into combat, if the enemy attacks you equip one of your pistols, then either reload it or repair it, and then you do Heroic Onslaught, and this normally costs 48 AP with 2 hands. But after you've done a reload or repair, you get half cost to your next melee skill, so it only costs 24. So basically you spend either 5 to reload or 10 to repair, and then you get this for 24, so you save 24 AP. And then you can only do that once per turn because it's a heroic skill, but then you can attack with 2 hands, which is normally 30, but you'll be doing it for 15, so you're sort of saving 15 AP there as well. So if you can equip a weapon then field repair it, and then you'll save that AP. So basically, you just kind of save it. You have a bunch of pistols, you rotate through them, you damage and use up the ammunition on them, and then you save that in your backpack, and then you use that for when you need to. Also, you can just, if there's a character nearby, you can just field repair on them as well to get it, because it's got a bit of a range on it, field repair, so you can do it to one of your friendly gangers. So that's the kind of the core thing. You can probably see immediately that you can apply that to any melee character pretty much for Goliath. It works best with a character that has two hands though. So if you've got like two melee weapon hands, because you need to have a high damage skill, a high AP cost skill to make it really worth it. Excuse me. So you wouldn't want a lay mechanic with a rivet gun in one hand or something like that. You want to have the ability to switch up. And the other aspect of this that I just wanted to mention, it's just sort of not necessarily part of this build, but just a thing with House Goliath. This -5 AP weapon cost, I sort of showcased it in my other build for my stun brawler as well. It just allows you to tailor what you want to do each round. So it requires you to use up a couple of slots in your backpack, but you can go. So this character, for example, like if he really needs to stun someone, he can just go in, equip Spudjack, cost no AP. Equip other Spudjack to right hand, cost no AP. Then he can do. This is after he's repaired one of his weapons, so he's got a half-price melee attack. Then he can go back to his heroic onslaught with 2 Spudjacks, which means he's going to attack 3 times with each hand. So he's going to get 6 Spudjack attacks, and Spudjack has 40% chance to stun. 50% chance to stun, sorry. So he can tailor it. So you can do you pull out 2 Spudjacks, do 6 Spudjack attacks, or he can use a normal strike first to try and get a Spudjack strike off, and if he gets a stun, then repair his gun, then pull out his then equip his 2 axes for free, and then so he's doing more damage, and then do his repair, use his repair, and then do the heroic onslaught to do the big damage with the axes. So you've got a lot of different, you can attack with 1 weapon, you can attack with 2 weapons, you can change both weapons to axes for max damage, you can change both weapons to stun jacks for stun, you can change both weapons to pistols. You got all these different options of configuration, and it all costs 0 AP because of the House Variant skill. And also another little note, you can use this for looting. So if you've got this on a Deadeye or a Saboteur that you use primarily for looting those characters, they're kind of far away at the end of the battle. Whenever you're picking up an item, if you always equip the one-handed weapons instead of putting them straight into your backpack, it's free to pick them up as long as you've got a free hand. You can't do it on two-handed weapons, obviously. They've got you can't do it on weapons that your career can't use. They have to go straight into your backpack. Two-handed weapons as well. It's -5 AP. So normally a two-handed weapon costs 10 AP to equip, so this will just mean that a two-handed weapon only costs 5 AP to equip, so that's still quite doable for a melee, if you're doing the same kind of build on a melee brawler, you could give them a two-handed axe to do the finishing blow after you've stunned them with your 2 stun jacks or something like that. So basically you can really leverage this house perk for the Goliaths to just be like Swiss Army knife with all these different weapons in their backpack. Maybe you don't want to fill up your backpack, but I want to keep some spare space for loot, but I just thought I'd showcase that. It's just a really cool thing that only Goliaths can really do effectively. But it's just a cool thing. The rest of this build is just totally optional, really. But I'll just go through it anyway, just to show how I've set this guy up. So he's got defensive landing, gives him plus 20% damage absorption after he jumps or does an ascension, which is pretty much going to do it. Pretty often, every turn he's pretty much going to jump, and it lasts till the end of next turn. So he's only got to jump once every 2 turns. So he's pretty much constantly got that up. He's also got Vanguard, which gives him plus 75 HP, minus 10 maximum action points. So he still gets his full 50 AP regen every turn, but normally characters have a 60 cap. So if they don't use all their AP, they can save up a little bit extra to have a 60 AP round every now and again. So he can't do that. He can only use his 50 AP, so he just has to use his 50 AP every round. But he does normally get followed around by this heavy that's got that's got aura weapon check that gives him 15 extra AP, so he's got 65 AP per round, and this guy also puts battle advice on him, so in case he needs to field repair, it's minus 10 AP cost, and also minus 75 AP cost of ambush. So he can generally get nearly half price melee attacks by reloading one of his pistols, but he can also or he can do auto repair on someone nearby if he really needs to. Which only cost him 10 for field repair, but then also his ambushes only cost 75%. So his melee attacks kind of cost half-ish plus 5 for the repair in the pistol, but his ambush is minus 75%. So a 2-weapon attack. Whenever he goes in ambush, he'll free equip his extra weapon, and that ambush is minus 75%, so it only costs 7 AP. And also, as I said before, you can tailor that ambush to. So if you want to make it more of a zone control, you can equip your 2 stun jacks, then you're going to have a pretty good chance of stunning that enemy in ambush. If you want to just do damage, you can equip your 2 axes, before you set your ambush. So he's really good in that way. He's almost always got that extra 7 AP left to do a free ambush. And again, all that stuff applies to a Brawler or any other character as well, as long as you've got that sort of support character applying those buffs to you. Quick note, he's got preparation as well, so plus 20 damage absorption in addition to his 20 from defensive landings. So he's got 40 damage absorption all the time. Also take lead through pain, so if he does take a big hit, like if he if he draws a 2-handed axe crit or something like that, the crit might still kill him, actually, a 2-handed axe crit, but because he's got 275 HP, he's kind of got the most chance out of any character to not die from that initial hit. And if he doesn't die, then he gets all this stuff: 30% hit resistance, crit resist, stress, stun resist, and that lasts until the end of the battle. And then if he does take a big hit, he can do Iron Will, which heals him 50 HP, but because of his high toughness, he'll get 148, so it'll be like 120 HP or something. So he'll be back nearly back in the green again after that. And then that also gives him 75% hit resistance and stun resistance, so he's basically unkillable for the next couple of rounds after that, unless he gets debuffed. So that little suite there makes him not unkillable at all, but with the 40% damage absorb, and 275 HP, he's pretty unlikely to get one shot, unless he gets debuffed first. And then last couple of things. I mentioned the heroic onslaught. Obviously, gives you 3 attacks per for your AP. It costs a little bit more AP than a normal attack, but that's mitigated by this setup that he's got with melee prowess. If this was a non-leader, then you could you wouldn't be able to take heroic onslaught. I'd probably recommend that you take cautious strike, just to give you that bit of flexibility to be able to hit enemies more reliably, and then I would take some more sort of offensive crit and stuff like that, crit buffs and stuff. But anyway, for this guy, because he's a leader, he's got heroic rally. This is kind of, I don't know, I definitely consider taking this on every leader now, because it removes stun debuffs and removes up to 3 skill debuffs, offensive debuffs, or defensive debuffs. So this is kind of like the only kind of real cleanse you can get in the game, and it can be really good because you get a lot of debuffs thrown around by saboteurs and stuff like that. So it's really nice to be able to pop this onto your characters, and also it gives a plus 35% stun resistance and stress resistance as well until the end of the battle. So it's actually a really good just pre-buff to do at the start of the battle if you've got the AP, and just buff it. So you've got a 10-meter range, so you can do the whole team if you set him up in the middle. So yeah, just really good skill, heroic rally. Definitely recommend. That stun resistance is really good even by itself, and the debuff, it's the only thing in the game that can give you that can remove debuffs. So it's really good. Apart from just characters' natural stress resistance that can remove debuffs over time. Just last, I was going to make mention heroic call to arms. This one gives you plus 15% critical hit resistance. Again, it's an AOE. The thing that you can do, buff to your team, so you can pretty much just do it to everyone in your team all at once in the first round of the game if you've got enough AP. Yeah, it just gives you a plus 15 critical hit resistance. So that's quite good. I usually build my Goliaths with a fair bit of toughness, so they've got a bit of crit resistance anyway. This guy's not that leveled up yet, but yeah, so he's got 12 crit resistance already. That gives him another, well, it won't give him the crit resistance, but, you know, for example, it'll give his other guys 15 crit resistance. And the crits are really the thing that are going to kill you with these tough Goliath builds. So that's quite useful, but it's very optional, that skill. Even if you did want to go for a bit of a, you know, tool, like this guy's not really focused, he's a bit of a generalist, but even if you did want to go for a generalist type build like that, you can definitely switch out this heroic call to arms to for something else. The crit resistance is probably, you know, not as necessary as some of the other things. Oh yeah, I just didn't mention, but yeah, also killing spree. After he kills somebody, he gets plus 50% melee damage, and then another 50% after he kills his second guy. So he quite often will get 2 kills in a battle, so you can rock around with a plus 100% melee damage. Yeah, I'd recommend this for any kind of melee centric character. So that's basically the build. As I said, it's just a not really even a build. It's just like I just wanted to explain all this cool stuff that you can do with the weapon swapping with the Goliaths. This is just one sort of build you could do with it. You could do the same exact thing with a Brawler build. You could do the same exact thing with a non-leader Deadeye melee character. Although Deadeye is not the best for a melee if he's not a leader. But yeah, anyway, I think you guys see the possibilities. It's pretty cool, really fun build. Just a quirky kind of build. I thought you might think it was cool. Anyway, thanks guys. See ya.